Welcome back to Station 655, The Minoc, your favorite talk radio program for the brave soldiers of the Republic. From Coruscant to the far reaches of the Outer Rim, we have thoughts and opinions and we want to hear from you. I'm your host, CT1586, aka Slackjack. Before the break, we were discussing the outbreak of foodborne illnesses arising from Greg's Cantina on Coruscant. Hopefully they can get things straightened out there. Today we have a boatload of questions, so let's dive in. From nicknames. Hey Slack, where am I? Well, hopefully not in any place dangerous. From Justin Thompson. And he writes, Hello Slackjack. I'm resending my questions from last time. I hope you can answer them. I have 3 questions for you. One of them is for my little brother, who's also a big fan of the show. Well, hello Justin Thompson's little brother, how are you? But before that, I wanted to apologize for mispronouncing your name last time. My bad. It's all good, it happens to everyone. Now, your little brother's question, number 1. What were your thoughts and reaction when you found out about 99's death, as it would have been hard for all of your brothers that know him? I heard about 99's death. I didn't meet him personally. However, I knew of him, and his death really was tragic. He was one of those soldiers who they deemed not worthy to be a soldier, but he was every bit a soldier as the rest of us, and may he rest in peace. Number 2, what are your thoughts on clone deserters of the Republic? It's a touchy question. On the one hand, there are clones who desert because they get fed up with what we're fighting for. And those are the clones that I feel are cowards. I feel that we were bred to help bring peace to the Republic and put an end to war. And when you walk out on that, it's a disgrace not only to every brother who you've served with who has died, but it's a disgrace to all the people out there we're supposed to be protecting. Now, on the other hand, I have met a few deserters who deserted because either their own men or their own commanders caused horrific stuff that I can't get into right now, but it's times like that where I don't necessarily agree with the desertion, but at that point, what other choice can you make? In most cases, I find it's usually the former. Usually our brothers are scared, and they don't want to die, but running away is not the answer. That's cowardice, and you're better than that. Number 3. Just wondering whatever happened to Pong Krell's body, seeing that he was a traitor to the Republic and no doubt a disgrace to the Jedi Order for what he did to your brothers. I'm not entirely sure what happened to his body. If I had to make a guess, they probably buried him in an unmarked grave somewhere on Umbara. But I think that was too good for him. He turned his own men against each other, had them killing each other in the field, and sided with Dooku and the Separatists, and it was too good for him. I've just got to say that he deserved worse than what he got. Thank you very much for your question. From John Myers, what's the best snack to have on hand for a long patrol? I'm a member of the Corellian Defense Forces, and, well, my usual favorite is a slice of Riche cake? I don't know if I've heard of that. Extra calories on a long march definitely helps boost morale. So, definitely Gushu drops for me. I have a sweet tooth, so I always make sure to stock up on Gushu drops. If you don't know, Gushu drops are hard candies with a chewy center made from Gushu fruit grown in the tropics of the Rishi system. The flavor is, I think the way I describe it is sweet and tangy, but just a bit of spice to it. There's a little bit of a tingle in there. There's no better treat if you ask me. But if I need protein, though, anything like jerky or roasted nuts, anything easy to carry. Thank you very much for your question. Now we move on to Zachary Wagster, who says, Hey Slack, my question for you is, what are your thoughts on clones that desert and decide not to fight? Do you agree with what some deserters say, that clones are just slaves born and bred just to fight? So I think I kind of answered this with the last one, but my thing is, there are clones who desert for reasons other than cowardice, but at the end of the day, those who would desert and say that clones are just slaves born and bred to fight are only half right. We are born and bred to fight. That is our purpose. But we are not slaves. We are not mindless drones like the droids. We are born and bred to fight for the Republic, to defend those who can't defend themselves. And if you ask me, I don't think there's any nobler cause. Yes, the war gets to me as well. There are times I wish I didn't have to fight. There are times I want to give up. But deserting my brothers and turning my back on the Republic is not the answer. It never will be. So I hope I've answered that question, and hopefully I don't need to cover anything more on deserters in the future. Thank you again. From Cole over at Task Force Mando, he says, Cole again. Been through a lot lately and had to witness some of our brothers make a heroic sacrifice in order for the rest of us to escape. Wish I could have done more to help them. But had to leave them behind, which I didn't agree with, and got me thinking of those who I trained with back home and still keep in touch with from time to time. We're known as Kill Squad. I would give anything to serve alongside. So my question for you is, do you still remember those who you trained with back home, and do you still keep in touch with them? I do keep in touch with a few of the people I trained with back on Kamino. The problem with keeping in touch with them is, well, one or two of them have passed away in combat, which is tragic, and the others, we're typically too far out of standard communications range, and we can't really go in and just use the comm channels here on the Venator ships whenever we want and however we want. Typically, those are only reserved for wartime communications. But on times when I do get to go see them, or if we're in the same sector, we like to meet up, we tell some stories, and it's fun. Thank you again. From Shadow Critias. He asks, out of all the Jedi and the Legion of Clones, like the 501st, etc., who do you have the most respect for? I would have to say that there's so many Jedi I have a lot of respect for, but I'd have to say up there are definitely General Kenobi. Obviously, he's my general. And General Plo Koon. Plo Koon has such an amazing reputation amongst the clones. He really treats all of them not just like clones or soldiers. He treats us like human beings. He empathizes with us. There's no greater honor than for a Jedi to treat us as an equal. I mean, look at all the stuff Jedi can do. They're throwing around things with their minds, they're carrying around lightsabers, they're heroes. And so when they talk to us and treat us as equals, as individuals, it really means the world. Thank you for your question. From Commander Watcher, he says, hey there, Slackjack, Commander Watcher again. My questions for you are the same ones for Cassius and Sarah from last time. 1. What should I do about fellow clone Commander Faye committing a civilian massacre? I heard about this one. I'd say the same thing that Cassius and Sarah said. Take it up with your superiors, and if that doesn't work, request a transfer, and, take it up with whoever's in charge over there. Don't let this just slide under the rug. This is not something that clones should be doing. Slaughtering civilians is unacceptable, no matter the case, especially if they're unarmed. Number 2, have you ever worked with conscripts? Me personally, not exactly. Now, General Kenobi has worked with some by proxy, so in a way I have, but I've never personally made contact with our conscripts. Number 3, what are your thoughts on Compor, its anti-alien leanings, and the Chancellor's support of it? Absolutely dreadful. There's some species out there, non-sentients, and even some that, typically don't side with the Republic, but that's no reason to hate them for who they are. And this whole situation with now the Chancellor supporting this whole thing, it's dreadful. I don't support it at all. No matter what species, everyone has the right to live a happy life and be free. That's what I believe. Number 4, who is your most despised senator in the Republic Senate? I can't really say. I'm going to be completely honest. While I do talk about politics sometimes on the show, I try not to delve in so deep as to make general assumptions about the senators themselves. I can't really give an answer. There was a Kaminoan senator. I always forget her name. She just has a bad vibe about it. I'll give you that one. I'd say that one. Thank you for your questions. From the Serpent. Hello, Slackjack. The Serpent here. Oh, great. It's the Snake. I'm just joking. Hope you're doing well. My question is, do you believe that something is going on behind the scenes, and that perhaps the war may be orchestrated, perhaps by this Darth Sidious? There are rumors about that. I'm kept out of the loop. It's not my place. But from what I've been told, a lot of the Jedi believe that someone by the name of Darth Sidious, a Sith Lord apparently, is pulling the strings on all sides of the war. Now, do I believe it's possible? Sure, especially if the Jedi believe it is. Now, do I think that's the case? Again, I don't know. It's not my place. But it's definitely plausible, especially if the Jedi believe it. Thank you for your question. From Midnight. Hey, Slackjack, Corporal Crow from the 205th Harbinger Battalion here. Just wanted to say thank you for commenting. I just wanted to let you guys know that was an excellent maneuver breaking through that Seppi blockade a few months back. Really impressive stuff. Keep up the good work. He says, out of any of the Jedi who haven't been a guest, who would you like to be a guest on the show? That's a difficult question. Most of the other Jedi are usually very busy. If I had the time, if he could make the time, Master Yoda, I think, would be my top choice. But there's always other Jedi. I don't know. What do you guys think? Who do you want me to bring on the show? Thank you for your question. From Noah Stewart. Good to hear from you, Slackjack. I hope you're doing well and that you are doing your best for the Republic. My question for you is, which Sith Lord or any Darksider is your least favorite and why? It's a toss-up. Count Dooku is the one behind this whole separatist uprising. But I'd have to say General Grievous. He slaughtered so many of my brothers, and I can't wait for the day when he's destroyed. He's merciless and he needs to be put down. Thank you for your question. From United Frequent Flyer. Hey, he says Slapjack. It's Slackjack. So, I'll change it for you. Hey, Slackjack, I have a question. What would be your favorite cuisine you tried, or if you want to try, and if you want to try, and if so, what planet would the cuisine be from? I've been all over, so I've tried many different foods. There's one I want to try that I haven't yet, and it's apparently called Mantell Mix, served on old Mantell. And from the description, it seems right up my alley, so I'd like to try that at some point. Our next question is from Thunderlore. He says, hello, this is Thunderlore calling in from Concord Dawn with a question for Slack. Do you have any recent battles that you participated in with stories to talk about? So, there is one. It happened just a few weeks ago. You all may still remember I've only recently gotten back to 100% after that injury a while back. So what happens now? We're sent to Tula to shut down a Seppi stronghold in the mountains. This means a lot of climbing, which was absolutely killing my leg by the time we got to the top. By the time we reached the stronghold, I could hardly walk. I was using my rifle as a crutch and firing away with my sidearm. Casualties were minimal in the end, and we shut down that base and captured a major financier of the Separatist weapons program. Good day for the Republic. But I waited until they brought the ship up because there was no way I was climbing back down. From 212th. Oh, this is from Lockett. I believe I remember you. Yes, I think you called in when Click Clack was hosting. He says, hello, Slackjack. I'm CT41023. Everyone calls me Lockett. I got my name after I found a locket, big shocker, in the ruins of a homestead while patrolling after a battle. It was such a simple thing. Inside was a picture of a couple and their daughter. But it made me wonder about the wider galaxy and how things were outside of the Grand Army of the Republic. Fortunately, I found out later that the family had evacuated before the battle, and I was able to return the locket to them personally once we pushed the Seppis off-world. I'm thankful to the Crone family in a way. Because of them, I am fascinated with every world we go to, and I always try to learn everything I can about everywhere we go. My question for you is, if you weren't in the army or running this great radio station, what would you like to do? After this war is over, and I'm assuming I'm not needed to help defend the Republic from another galactic threat, I intend to take up some kind of job that will take me across the galaxy and uncover its history. Archaeologists need security too, right? Anyway, thank you for giving us a voice, and may your path be the one you choose. Thank you very much for that story. If I wasn't in the army or doing this show, I don't know. Definitely traveling. Seeing the galaxy, trying new things. Enjoying my freedom from war. I think that's what I'd be doing. And now our final question is from Ultra Shadow 95. He says, "Hey Slackjack, I've got a small question for you today. Do you have any shows you'd recommend for me to watch? I've been really bored recently, so I want to hear your suggestions if you have any. Preferably something with a fast-paced plot and minimal to zero romance." Well, Zaki Fowler's Pod Race Payback is on this Tonguesday at 6. Galactic Geographic is running a special on the inner workings of the spice trade. And Dancing with the Twi'leks is on tonight at 8. Honestly, I don't watch too much TV. I think you're on your own here. Thank you all for joining us today. Before we go to break, a thank you to our sponsor, Auntie Zella's Artisan Cookies. So, all you know that old Slackjack loves his sweets, but I hadn't heard of Auntie Zella's until they reached out to the show. They sent me a free batch to try, and I'll just be honest, I might need to have my armor refitted today, because I cannot put these things down. These are by far some of the most amazing cookies I've ever had. Auntie Zella uses 100% natural ingredients with no preservatives, no artificial colors or flavors, and they have gluten-free and vegan options available as well. You can order one batch of 12 cookies or their Zella batch, which includes 12 cookies with one of each of their signature recipes, including cinnamon bantha, chocolate Wookiee crumble, Twin Suns peanut butter and banana, and my favorite, white chocolate macadamia. Hey, sometimes the classics don't need a catchy name. So, if you order now, you get 2 batches of Auntie Zella's 10% off. Just use the promo code SLACK10. Again, that's promo code SLACK10 for 10% off. If you aren't happy with your order, send it back with your order number, and they will send you a new batch free of charge. Try them today and see why Auntie Zella's is the perfect treat for any occasion. Wow, that's good. Thank you again for joining us. We'll be back after this short break. Stay with us.